Hello again to Wild at Heart at Home. This is our garden art week and I'm going to do a very quick run through a nature craft activity that's very simple, very fun to do and connects you with nature in another new and interesting way. And it's part of our 5 ways to well-being, finding things to do that help us through this difficult time in whatever way we can. Thinking about this, it's learning a new skill, taking notice and keep learning. So this week I have learnt all about petal paint, which I've never come across before, and really it is a sort of taking that, extracting the natural dyes from plant materials and using them in our arts and crafts. So we have our Wild at Heart bunting that's gone out in the post packs today. If anyone wants to have a go at this, please feel free. There's lots of information online. I'm conscious this is just a very brief skim through and we will put some more information in our post packs as well. But have a look online, Google petal paint, and you'll find a world of activity if you want to get into it. Today I'm just going to be using some of the coreopsis flowers that I've got growing in our garden quite by chance. There are the single varieties, the tick seed as we call it locally, is the not the double varieties because they're not great for insects, but if you've got a wide open flower with lots of access to the pollen and nectar for our pollinators, then these are great little plants. These in particular flower all summer long. These have actually been flowering all winter. It was so mild this year, so they're still going strong, if a little bit leggy, but I don't feel guilty about picking them because the more you pick, the more you get. If you deadhead them, but if you also pick them and use them, then more will grow. I cleared the lot on Friday having a play with it, and there's plenty more to use now, and you don't need many. I've got about 8 to 10 little flowers here. So I've started pulling the petals off. All you need are the petals, not any part of the green heads. Just pop the petals, give them a shake first to get any insects out because you don't want those, a tap, and pop the petals in a dish. Glass is good because it doesn't react in any way to the chemicals in the plants, but a jam jar or anything like that would be really useful. I've done it in little jars as well, but I'm going to do it in a bowl today, so I hope you can see this. So it doesn't take long to pull the petals off, and quite soon you've got quite a good supply. If you use a few petals, then you'll get a much lighter colour. If you're lucky enough to have access to a lot of plant material, you'll get a much darker, richer, deeper colour. And the whole process is simply based on pouring boiling water onto the petals. So be careful. Oh, and all you have to do is just slightly cover the petals. So not too much. But again, if you do put in a lot of water, you'll get a more dilute colour. And if you use a very small amount of water, you'll get an intenser colour, but it'll go less further. So I found I used up most of a batch, which was just a small amount, on this piece of fabric here the other day, having a play. So I made up 2 little jars. They were about half full from about the same amount of plant material, and I could colour this one piece of bunting triangle. So as you can see, there's 2 colours here. There's the very yellow, pale lemony yellow of the straight coreopsis petals, and then there's a much pinker redder, and it does go a different colour red depending on the fabric it's on. This is really quite a lovely pinky red. And I had played with putting bashing the leaves onto here before, so that was already there, and then I painted over the top. So I'll talk briefly through this. We leave this for about, and again, a few minutes. You can already see the colour coming out. It's easy to see on a white background, because if the colour doesn't come out, you can't quite tell what's happening. But if you leave it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes or longer, you might get a darker, deeper colour. But even just leaving it for a couple of minutes, you get quite a special yellowy colour. And then the next process is to strain it. And you don't even have to do that, to be honest. You can start painting straight away from here. If I show you on this, you just have to brush off the plant material. I wonder if you can see that. Where are we? There we go. Just straight like that. It's stained this little piece of fabric quite yellow. That's going to be hard to see, isn't it? Never mind. Let's start the process through here again. I'm going to use just an ordinary tea strainer and a piece of muslin cloth and pour it into a jug just to make it a little bit easier. So I haven't got a great deal of liquid, but you can see that really is quite yellow. It's even going orangey. So the thing about these colours, they'll oxidise in the air and create darker colours. So if I pour half of this in here, I'll keep that yellow, and I'll pour some of it in here as well. So I've got a very small amount in 3 jars, just to show you what happens. In this jug, I'm going to put a very small amount of bicarbonate of soda, and it really is just a tiny little sprinkle. So this is an alkaline, which in the same way as dyeing, well, I might almost immediately, that has gone much redder. I can see that very clearly. It's got much darker and gone really quite red. Let's have a quick paint with that and see if it's going to work. I'll use this piece of bunting to start with. So it's gone quite yellow, but a darker orangey yellow. Let's see. Can you see that? Not great. Okay. But I'm sure if I had more of the dye liquid and more of the bicarb, I'd get a much deeper, darker colour. And then if you go to that acidic end, let's try this one, you can use lemon juice, or in this case, I'm going to use a little splash of vinegar. This is white vinegar, just to see. And that is going to be hard for you to see, but noticeably that has changed quite quickly from the yellow to a very pale green, gone much more greeny. And again, I think it's going to be hard to see, but I will have a go. So quite a lemony, pale yellow greeny colour on here. And again, I think on different fabrics, the colour is easier to see. Let's try it on the calico, which went out in the post packs. Again, all I'm doing here is effectively using the paintbrush to dye the fabric. That's very pale. It's going to be so hard to see in this light. And with the more orangey red, we put it next to it. So the thing to do complete play around and see what happens. So that orangey is coming out and it's dripping through. So when I hung this piece up last week, the red, which had gone very red, dripped down through into the yellow. So you can find different ways of exploring and playing with paint. There's that orange again there, and the orange and yellow here. So that's going to need a bit of work on it, but there are the colours again, a very greeny yellow, a very dark orange verging on red. We might have a, see if we can put some more bicarb in that, and that's the original, quite a yellow colour from the Coreopsis, the tick seed. Okay, so that's a very, very quick run through petal paint for a play and an explore. Quick warning, have a look online, see what colours are, what plants are useful and safe to use. Some plants are poisonous in the garden, toxic, different levels of toxicity, so if you can stay away from those. There's not that many, but it's as well to be aware of them. So in this case I've used Coreopsis, the tick seed, and I'm going to have a play. I tried using the yellow Welsh poppies have all come out this week, and they were rubbish. They didn't give any dye colour at all whatsoever. And from the calendula I got a very, very pale orange that didn't work very well, but I could tell that the calendula was, the water it produced was a very oily. So calendula is famed for its oils, which we've made into hand creams before, so we might save the calendula for making hand cream next time, and not use it for painting with. So thinking about what you could use, have a look around you, see what's in abundance. I'm going to have a play with the red valerian, which has just come out, Centranthus rubra. There's lots of that in my garden, it's just coming out. I'm going to see whether there's any dye potential in this afternoon. It started to rain here, it's very cold. I think I shall go inside, make it cosy and snug, and have a quiet, relaxing, maybe put on some music and have a gentle play this afternoon. Okay, good luck and enjoy whatever you do, and let us know. Keep in touch. Bye.